scene.
Okay.
And are we recording? We are recording live with pamgraef. How are you, Pam?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing well. So you and I have been friends / acquaintances. I don't know if you've noticed my shirt today, but I wore this in honor of
I saw
friends
that.
today.
I did see that. I'm amongst friends.
And so we've been knowing each other for a little over 5 years now. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, huh? But met you in the gyms, right? That's
yes.
Like-minded people think alike, right? So,
yep.
So I was really excited that you agreed to do this interview with me. Starting to go a little bit more with video on YouTube, and now you've got me thinking some other directions here in the near future too. So we'll see how that goes. I want to hook up with you and do a video together too for TikTok. That would be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I have an idea too, so I'll run that by you later.
Okay. Yeah. I always need new ideas.
You and I probably entered the fitness world right about the same time. I think I've been doing it since 1986. You were what, 1988, you said?
1988, yep.
1988. Oh my gosh, was that the fun day? We had those high impact aerobics, low impact aerobics. We used to wear those knee warmers, those leg warmers. We were looking like giant Jane Fonda. Remember those
leotards with the belts. Oh yeah.
And then the thongs came into play. Yes. We thought it was so scandalous with the thongs, right? It was so funny.
I always wonder if they're ever going to come back.
I hope not.
I know, me neither, because they really, if you think about it, they're kind of gross. And I had them in every color and, had the printed little shorts, biker shorts with the thong and the whole shebang.
I remember the first time I wore one teaching a class, I thought I was going to die of embarrassment. I was just like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. But everybody else was doing it, right? So why not?
Right.
Yeah,
girl, so I rolled right into those thongs with no problem.
Hey, I looked great in that thong back then too, but it just was really out the comfort zone.
I actually think now I would look better now in the thong than I did then, because back then Oh yeah, because back then that was before I competed and everything. So that, I was still eating, potato chips and po' boys, and, I was young, so I was in my 20s. So, my eating habits and everything have changed, and I went through competition and all that, and, got leaner and everything. So I'm like, shoot, if they ever came back, I'd be rocking that thong.
You're going to get one in the mail in the next couple of days, okay?
All right. I'll wear it.
Awesome. So how long have you been teaching? What kind of classes do you teach?
Well, I've been teaching since 1988, and I have pretty much probably have taught everything under the sun, any class you can imagine. So, it kind of would always depend on the trend at the time and the hot thing that came out and all that. Right now, I teach body pump, and I've been doing that since body pump first came out in 1997. I teach cycling when we have it. Virtual cycling classes is not the thing because most people don't have a bike, but cycling, love my cycling. I teach PammJamm, which is, my dance-based class. Body weight blast, power to the core, which is it's Pilates based, but it's set to music, and it's kind of choreographed, and I love that class. I actually like teaching Pilates that way more than just your basic format.
Yes.
What else do I teach? Dance fit, cardio body blast. So right now I have like 6 or 7 different class formats. So I teach strong by Zumba, which is now it's called Strong Nation. I cannot forget that because that's my favorite. So at first when it came out, they called it Strong by Zumba, and then they changed it for whatever reason to Strong Nation.
Huh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I am teaching Hi-Yo right now, which is kind of a cross between Pilates and yoga, and I absolutely love that. And I went to go do the Pilates certification. You were in on that one. And I'm just like, what am I doing? I've never really taken a Pilates class. I thought I had, but then when I'm taking the certification, I'm like, I have never really even taken a Pilates class, not formally. So that just felt so unusual to me compared to what I do with PiYo. And PiYo is just so high energy. It's cardio, it's strengthening, stretching all in one class. So you need to come join me one day.
I was just getting ready to say, I need to try that one day because that sounds awesome. I'm always looking for new formats, you know, to introduce. And, you know, the way I'm doing it right now in my Power to the Core class, I prefer that. I prefer it over just the basic format of Pilates. I actually feel like I get more out of it. And when I switched to teaching virtually in the whole pandemic thing, the Pilates did not feel right. I did a few virtually and I was just like, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just feel like Pilates is something you have to be there hands-on, one-on-one. And so I took the Pilates moves and kind of mixed them and matched them and set them to music. And I burn more calories and I get a lot more out of it. And it's better virtually. And I still try to kind of focus on the, you know, the Pilates scoop in the belly and keeping the rib cage down. And I try to, you know, like get that across to them the best I can virtually. But I absolutely love it like that. And I love Pilates, but that, you know, sticking with that same format every single time, like they taught us in that workshop, was,
not for me at all. You know, and I've taught it many times, but I did my own.
Bored.
Yeah, me too. And whenever I taught Pilates, it was more of the Pilates moves, and I just kind of did it like, okay, let's do a whole bunch of sets of this one, then we take a break. Do a whole bunch of sets of this, and we take a break. And I have more fun, and I find it more challenging doing it that way anyway. So I wasn't born to be a Pilates teacher, but I was born to be a PiYo teacher. So you're going to have to come take that one.
I'm going to come take that class. And, you know, I actually learned because I was teaching Pilates before we went through that workshop.
Oh, okay.
And because I had gone through another one, but it was just a one-day thing. And for about a year and a half, I taught Pilates thinking to myself, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I didn't know how to format it. Like, I just felt like I was all over the place and it didn't feel right. So when we went through that workshop, I understood the format better and I understood the moves better. And so I said, okay, if I am going to teach a Pilates class, just a straight up Pilates class, that's how I'm going to do it because I like that because of the format, you know, but it's something I feel like, I don't know if I can do that all the time because it's kind of not me. I like stuff to music and, you know, so I got my Pilates moves set to music and it just, I don't know, for me, it just flows and that's more my thing, but I learned a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I did learn a lot. I was grateful for that, but I'm like, I'm not stressing myself trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just wasn't me. So.
Right.
Yeah, but I know you like the jam. I love taking your body pump classes over at the fitness center when I was there more often. So yeah, I love the way you carry on. You're just wonderful. Your personality is a little bit more like mine. I like that louder, you know, more fun, moving around type instructor. So it's hard for an instructor to take other instructors' classes. So when you find one that you can go to that you're comfortable with and you're like, yeah, she rocks, right?
Right.
That's why I came to your classes so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's, hey, if it ain't fun, we ain't doing it.
That's right. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My motto has always been, make it fun, they're going to come, right? And that's been my whole motto my whole life.
I like that.
So.
Yeah, I like that.
So talk to me a little bit about America's Got Talent. Oh my gosh, I was so excited for you when you did that.
Oh, me too. Oh, it was so much fun. You know, okay, so the way that I got into it, I was watching World of Dance and watching America's Got Talent, and I was, you know, and I always watch So You Think You Can Dance, and I go to the tour, the show that they have every year, and I absolutely love it. And you know, I haven't done a fitness routine in several years, and so I was watching it, and I'm like, I wonder if they would, you know, like if this is something that would like go over on any of these shows.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not something that you see every day. The fitness the crazy push-ups and dropping to splits and jumping and all that. And so I just kind of got inspired, and I was like with my knee and you know, my age and all that, I was kind of thinking to myself, I don't even know if I can do a routine anymore. It had been like 3 years since I had done a routine, and it had been 10 years or maybe 11 since I had competed. So that was kind of my challenge. I said, I just want to see if I can even do a routine anymore. And how much fun would it be to send in a video to World of Dance and send in a video to America's Got Talent and just see what happens. And so I pulled this routine together. It was super fun. You know, it was called Freak Show, and I wore tattoos, and kind of my character was, because that's what I like to do with a song. I like to take it and make it like a little story. So my character was a little freak show character with all the tattoos, and I had black and white striped pants, and I, you know, oh, how much fun is this going to be? So pulled the routine together, sent in a video to World of Dance, never heard from them, which, you know, when I watch World of Dance, I'm like, I don't even know what I was thinking that that they would choose me with the level of the dancers that they have on there. But hey, you never know. They might go, wow, this girl's 53. Look at this. And J-Lo always said, that was the other thing. J-Lo said, we want to see something we've never seen. And I said, I bet you they've never seen this. So sent the video in to them, never heard from them. Sent the video into America's Got Talent, and about 4 or 5 weeks after I sent the video in, I get an email from a producer of America's Got Talent. And they said, we got your video, and I was registered to go to Dallas for a live audition. And they said, you know, send in a video. The more we see you, the better. So the email said that they wanted to send me a front of the line ticket for the audition, which I was just like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, so I was like, okay, I piqued their interest. So I was like, of course, you know, they said, are you interested in that? Oh, duh, of course I'm interested in that. Because the email said to expedite your audition and get you in front of the producers sooner. And I'm like, definitely, because I was worried like we were going to have to sit there for 10 hours waiting for our chance to audition. So it ended up that it wasn't like that at all.
Awesome.
They had lots of audition rooms going, but the front of the line ticket, whatever group of numbers they called, whether it was your audition number or not, whenever you were ready, you got to go.
Oh, that was cool.
That was awesome. So I went in there, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, we're going to be in front of a panel of producers and all that. So I get in there. And so, you know, learning experience. Now I know more. So next time, you know, I'll know a lot better what to expect. But so I go in there, and there's a cameraman and one guy sitting at a table with a computer. And he's like, hey, so I'm going to press play, and we're going to record your routine. And, you know, we'll let you know sometime in January whether you made it or not. So I was thinking I was going to walk out of there with a yes, you moved forward, or a no, you didn't. Yeah. So that was kind of
is interesting.
Well, y'all had my video. You just have gone off of that, and, you know, saved
front of the line just to come do it again, right?
Right. But I did it you know, I did it really good, and you know, it was an awesome experience. And now that I understand more of the process, you know, going into the next one, even if I didn't get a front of the line ticket, I know what to expect. I know that they have a lot of audition rooms going. You might be there for 3 or 4 hours, but I was thinking, you know, the line would be around the corner and you'd be sitting there 10 hours, and that's not the way it is. So I was like, okay, I could do that. I could do that. So we made a girls' trip out of the weekend in Dallas. And that was a lot of fun. Some of my girlfriends went with me, and we had a great time. And so I never heard from them, which means I didn't make the show.
Aww.
And you know what? But it was okay. I actually was like, you know, on the bright side of that, because I just got back into doing the routines, you know, my fitness routines. I said, okay, if I made it, I would be on the express plan. Because, you know, you got to come up, if you keep making it, you got to come up with a different routine every time, which means I would really have to push it, because they want to see something different every time. So I said, okay, so if I would have made it, I would be on the express plan. Yeah. If I didn't make it, I have more time to work on some new moves and get myself to a different level.
Sure. Yeah.
But of course, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to get out of routine shape. I'm going to keep practicing my routine. And, because it's once you get out of it, it takes a little while of doing your routines again before you're like, okay, you can even breathe.
Well, competing, no matter what you're doing, you have to be physically fit and able to withstand it, right? So I can see that.
Yeah. And the routine is super hard. So I was like, oh, I don't want to get out of routine shape, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Now I'm out of routine shape because I hadn't done it since February.
Oh my gosh.
But it's okay. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to start working on the next routine, because I totally plan on doing it again. Because that's the other thing. You don't necessarily make it the first time you go.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes they need to see you a few times and go, hey, you remember this girl? I remember her from last year. And I don't want to talk about, where I'm taking it with my routine, with my act. But actually, since this whole TikTok thing came out, since I started on TikTok and it's, going crazy, I kind of have a new idea of where I'm going to go with my routines.
So it's setting up your next routine for you then.
Yes.
Timing is everything, right?
Timing is everything. And the timing on all of this stuff has just been crazy.
Yeah. So, and we talked a little bit about this before we started the interview here, but just for everybody else to know, we started talking about doing this interview about the America's Got Talent, like back when you first did it in February.
Right.
So I'm glad it didn't work out, because now I'm moving more towards video instead of my Been There, Done That Blogger written. So we're doing the video interview, but we also have 4 stories right now instead of just 1. So I'll hear on that. So let's talk about COVID. So you were like, your whole life revolves around the fitness industry. You taught a lot of classes. Your full-time job was in the fitness industry, was it not?
Yes.
How did COVID affect that?
Well, of course, I was, stuck at home, and I actually retained some of my clients, and we did virtual. Now there were a bunch that I kept trying to go, come on, we can do this virtually. And let me just get through this week. And, so some of them, just totally fell off the wagon with their workouts. But there were several of my clients that I have trained virtually the whole time, and still am training.
That's awesome.
Virtually. Yeah. And, all of my classes went to virtual. So the first week we were, in the quarantine, I got the idea from another Zumba instructor. She had put together a Facebook page, and, was going to do her classes live on Facebook. And I was like, that's a really good idea. So I put a group together. Now I didn't want to do them live on Facebook, because they always cut your music off and you can get, banned and all that stuff because of the whole music rights thing. So, and then I was trying to find a platform, and of course, here comes Zoom. Somebody had mentioned, why don't you try Zoom? And so they shut us down on a Monday, and that very next Saturday, I taught my very first class on Zoom.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah. So girl, I don't play around, because it's like, okay, and at the time we thought it was going to be for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
look at us now, right?
Yeah. 6 months later, I'm still teaching virtually. So, I didn't play around with it, because, I don't want to miss my workouts, and I didn't want all my other people, because people are like, oh God, Pam, we're going to get fat. What are we going to do? And I said, we're going to do classes virtually. That's what we're going to do. So, and you were talking about, having to work out all the settings and all that stuff. I had to do all that the first few times we did it. The music sounded like we were underwater, and people were like, I don't know if I can deal with this. And I said, there's got to be a way we can fix this. One of my clients, who's kind of like my little sidekick, she helps me with a lot of stuff. She's an engineer at the company where I work, and so she's very technologically minded. And she was researching and everything, and she found all the settings and everything that I needed to do to make the music sound halfway decent. And so we worked that out. So it was like there were a lot of things that we had to work out along the way, and it was hard. It was weird, but we did it. I did it for the living room, from my living room for, you know, till June, end of June, when we started doing when I came back to work. And now I do the classes from the studio, but they're still virtual.
Still virtual,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, and I teach body pump on Wednesdays back at Premier again. You know, we started that back in June. So, and I've taught some live cycling classes there too. So I have taught some live classes, and it's refreshing because, you know, the Zoom, there was at one point where I was just kind of getting frustrated with the technological issues, and the battery goes dead on the Surface Pro, and people are going, oh, you're freezing up. And, so at one point I was like, okay, I am virtual weary. I'm over it. I'm over it. But I had to get a grip and say, well, you better get over this, because this is the new normal pretty much for now. Yeah. So I had to deal with it, and it's been great. And, I enjoy it for what it is. It's like, okay, at least we still get to do classes, and I still get to see the people on the screen, and they woohoo, chime in on the little chat box. And, so it is what it is. So I might as well embrace it and enjoy it and have as much fun with it as I can. So, did it affect my income some? Sure it did, because I'm not training as many clients, but, I still get paid for my classes, and I still have a job. Yeah.
You made it work. So wahoo for you.
So, so I'm lucky and very grateful that I still have a job.
All right. So you talked to me a little bit about some anxiety during COVID. Tell me a little bit about that.
Woo, that was freaky. And speaking of Zoom, and I told you this, and I didn't realize it at the time, but the very first little anxiety attack I had was after that very first class that I taught on Zoom.
Ah.
Yeah. I just told my husband, I was like, God, I feel weird. I just got this weird feeling that came over me. And I chalked it up to low blood sugar and dehydration, because I kept forgetting to eat because I wasn't in my normal routine, and I wasn't drinking enough water. And I said, there's got to be what it is. And then a few weeks later, I had another day where I just felt weird, and I had like these waves of nausea rolling through my body, and I just didn't feel right. So then I was like, okay, I'm lactose intolerant, and I had eaten a bunch of cupcakes at Easter and that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I think I overdid it. My husband's like, yeah, it's got to be that. And over the course of, from when I had, when I called him, not the Zoom class, but the few weeks later, and over a course of about 4 or 5 days, I just didn't feel right. And I kept getting this weird feeling, and I could shake it. And then the Sunday before I had a really massive anxiety attack, my legs felt real shaky. Like my whole body just felt jittery. And I was just like, what is wrong? I don't feel right. And my husband was staying at the hotel where he works at the time, because him and his boss were like security for the hotel because it was shut down. So he wasn't even staying at home. So I would have these little anxiety attacks at night, most of the time at night, not really realizing what it was. And I was like, oh, I don't feel right. So that Monday, April 20th, I'll never forget that, because it was my grandson's birthday. And the day before, we had a little party for him, and I got to see him and my son. And the next day felt weird all day. And that night at about midnight, I had this anxiety attack, and I ended up having to call my husband. I said, you have to come home, because at that point, I could not shake the feeling. Before, it kind of would come and go and all that. And it was not leaving. And I told him, you have to come home, because there is something wrong with me. And, so for about the next 2.5 to 3 weeks, I was in the midst of a anxiety attack almost all the time. And, you know, I ended up seeing a doctor, and they did blood work, and they ruled out metabolic things and things like that. But for that 2.5 weeks, could not drink coffee. I was scared to drink coffee. I went through a couple of weeks where I was scared to teach class. I've been teaching class since 1988, and I was scared to teach class because my heart rate was so elevated. You know, I'm going, okay, I'm dying. I'm going to have a heart attack. I probably have a brain tumor, like everything that you could think that is wrong with you.
Yeah, going through your head.
I had it. It was so scary. I was so scared. Yeah. Because I thought for sure I had something, and this is the end of me.
I know
so, and to not be able to teach class, that was really freaking me out. So the morning after I had the massive anxiety attack, my pulse rate laying in bed was 76.
Oh, wow. Which is high for you.
Because normally it's in the low 50s.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and I just felt racy, and it was a horrible feeling. And, you know, once I knew it was anxiety and they ruled out stuff with the blood work and all that, it's like I started to feel better, you know, and I decided, okay, I don't need to go on a daily medication for this. I don't want to.
Yeah.
One of my main reasons was because I was like, I think those make you gain weight. I'm not going on that. You know, so then, you know, so I was like, God, that would give me anxiety more than anything else. Oh my God, I might gain weight.
Let me get that.
Right. So that wasn't the only reason, because I just don't want to be on a medication like that. So I said, I have to deal with this. So it got better. You know, I was feeling better and everything, but, you know, it was still coming and going. Then I got ringing in my ears in July. And so I started having to get them again, because then all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, what's wrong with me now? So here comes the anxiety attacks again. But I saw a doctor, and it's tinnitus, and my ears are ringing, and that's my new normal.
It's your new normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand how you feel. I guess about 8 months ago, maybe even close to a year, because it was well before COVID, I myself was having anxiety, and I internalize everything, and I smile on the outward side, and I go into depressions, and I started with like what I thought was like heart palpitations. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. So this went on for about 2 weeks before, you know, I'm like, oh, it'll go away. So I get on the hotline with my nurse practitioner for my insurance, and she's like, you have signs of a heart attack. You need to call an ambulance right now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not calling an ambulance. I'll drive. She says, you are not getting behind a wheel. And she's like freaking out over the phone. And I'm like, I really don't think it's a heart attack. She goes, it is very well, could be just anxiety, but it is very well signs for a heart attack too. So I'm like, okay. So I call my husband, you got to come get me and bring me to the hospital, because this lady will not let me drive myself. She wants me to call 911, but I'm not calling 911.
Hey, you wouldn't believe how many times I called my husband during all that and said, you got to come home. He was just like, no.
Finally figured out it was anxiety, right? I'm like, well, I mean, I don't feel like I'm stressed all the time, but I internalize it. So I had, somebody had suggested that I journal. And I was like, well, I do journal. I make to-do lists. I, journal my feelings with stickers in my calendar and all that kind of stuff. And she says, no, journal your negativity. So I was like, okay. So the next morning after, it was somebody in my class, as a matter of fact, told me that one evening. So I was like, okay, let me try it. So on my way to the office, there's all kind of road rage stuff happening. By the time I get to my office, I'm just, okay, and I got to get on a client call. So I'm like, well, let me start journaling. I just grabbed a book and started writing. And as soon as I started doing that, everything settled down with me. It was crazy. But I did dive into a depression though, and during the COVID. That was hard. That was really hard coming out. I've never been that low before. It was really, really bad. So
wow.
It's tough. So I feel for all of those out there that deal with that. And I have family history of severe depression and stuff. So I was really worried about it and went and saw my doctor and all that. But got my friends around me again, right? I'm getting more involved again. I'm teaching my classes again.
Good.
So I'm feeling much better. I'm in a much better.
I've talked to so many people that when, the anxiety thing comes up, they're like, God, me too. I've had it too. And, you hear on the news and, all the people that are, you know, experiencing anxiety because of the pandemic. I never had any. Now, looking back on it now, I may have had some tendencies here and there, you know, where I was maybe had a little bit and just didn't realize what it was.
Yeah.
But nothing like that.
Yeah.
And
there's just so much time on our hands back, you know.
Yeah.
For that
Well,
time.
I never, like, I knew anxiety was a thing. Okay. I knew it was a thing, but because I had never experienced like that, I didn't realize how much of a thing it was. And I was just like, God, I feel for people who have anxiety, because it is scary. It is scary. And it brings your mind to a point where you panic about everything.
Everything.
Stuff I had, stuff that, you know, I'm gluten intolerant. When I eat it, I break out in a rash, you know, that kind of thing. So I'd break out in a rash and I'd be like, oh my God, I wonder what this is. You know, like, so it brought me to a point where stuff that happened, oh God, I have a headache. I wonder my eye is itching. Oh, what does this mean? You know, like, it brought me to a point where I panicked over everything. And just now, okay, so once I got the ringing in my ears business, they did a hearing test and the whole deal, because it brought, like, I had another, like, there was one morning where I had, like, probably almost one of the, you know, like, as bad of an anxiety attack as I did in the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I was panicking about it. What's wrong with me? But so I saw the doctor. They did the hearing test. I don't have any hearing loss, and he said that try not to focus on it, because, you know, you may have that all the time now. And once I got past that, like the last couple of weeks, because I felt like I backed off of the intensity of my workouts, you know, during all this time when all this stuff was going on, because I was like, ooh, you know, should I be working out this intense? And, you know, it kind of like got me to a point where I felt like I was losing my edge.
Yeah. Oh, I was there. I know that feeling.
That is not a good feeling for me.
What are you without your edge, right?
I hated it. And I was like, okay, so now I'm 53, and, you know, is this where I'm going to, you know, go downhill? And, you know, so now I got all this fear about, you know, this is my new normal. And, you know, I'm not on the leaderboard at work on our My Zone, which that's our motivational tool that we use, and you get points for working out. And, you know, I was way down on the list when I'm usually in the top 5, you know, but I had backed off of my intensity, and I would go into class every time going, ooh, I wonder if I'm going to pass out this time. And, you know, I would almost be like, oh my God, is that an anxiety attack coming on in the middle of class? And I was like, I went through this period of being like scared.
Yes.
Even up until the last few weeks. But let me tell you, about 2 weeks ago, got the ringing in my ear thing out of my head. And it was like, there was one Monday when I was teaching my dance fit class, and I was thinking to myself, I think I got my fire back.
I just recently told myself that. In fact, I told my girlfriend that. We went to lunch not too long ago, and I told her, I said, I finally have it back. You know, I'm like, Catherine's here, right?
Yes,
you know, it's just like,
I am back. I am back.
It was hard.
I think this was the 3rd week, and I'm getting chills thinking about it, because I'm like, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, I got to, you know, start thinking about a new routine for America's Got Talent and all that. It was everything I had just to make it through my classes, and I'm teaching 9 a week. So,
oh, wow. Yeah, I'm doing 2 a week.
I'm doing 9, and it, you know, the anxiety and just that fear and the whole thing, it takes a toll on your energy level. And I'm thinking, man, I got to get this going. And I'm like, God, but it's everything I have just to make it through class.
Girl,
and then,
I know the feeling.
So, you know, so like now I feel like my fire came back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I think it's back. I think I'm back. And I'm not walking into every class going, I'm like, oh, is this going to be the one where, you know, the anxiety takes over and I fall on the floor and everybody's panicking on the other side of the screen because, you know, because I passed out or whatever. But that was a really good feeling, because I'm like, I got my fire back. I am back, Jack.
Yeah. And I was going through that little depression I started with the depression before COVID came, and my busy season for work started to pick up. I travel a lot when that happened. So I was getting back into the groove. And while I was on the road, I was getting ready to go from one client to teaching a live training class. And I was called in and said, they're shutting everything down. Just go home. We're not doing the class. And then I just started going downhill from there. And at one point, I was even considering giving up my classes, just the 2 a week. And I just was just like you. You know, I was just like, I don't want to be here. I'm having a hard time. It's hard for me to smile and give energy when I have no energy, right?
Right.
And
yes.
just like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't give your classes up, because I'd be so angry with myself right now feeling good.
Yeah.
So I know you're
like now I'm like working out hard again. And, you know, I'm like, number one, so what if I'm 53?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's
way.
just a number. I told somebody just the other day, technically I'm 35 and I'm trapped in a 53-year-old body.
Up here I'm 28, right?
Yes, yes. But I was like, I am not going to let this beat me.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not in the shape that I'm in from letting things beat me. I've overcome a lot of stuff, and, you know, doing the competitions and all that stuff. And I'm like, I got in this good shape because I worked my butt off.
Right.
And I, you know, because then I'm thinking, oh God, am I going to lose my strength? And, you know, am I not going to be able to stay in as good a shape and as I, you know, have been and all that. And then I was like, oh no. You're going to get back. You got your fire back. You're going to start working hard again. And man, I've been freaking jamming in my workouts. And I'm like, I'm not going down. And this is not taking me down. This pandemic isn't. This anxiety isn't.
I swear. You and I are in the same exact headspace, because I made 53 earlier this year, and I really thought it was the end of my life. You know, you're just like, is this it? Am I just out of my realm? Am I just like what do you call it? Your glory days are long gone. You know, I went through the whole thing myself. So you and I, and see, we connected again for another reason, right?
Maybe that's a midlife crisis.
Maybe so. Hey, I'm okay with it if that was the end of it, right? And it was short. So
yeah. And, you know, I still feel the last couple of days, I don't know what it is. And whenever I start to kind of feel that little bit of anxiety creeping in, I do a deep breath. I go, I kind of reset myself, and I go, what am I nervous about? You know, and a lot of the time I can't think of a thing.
Yeah.
And it, you know, so it hasn't totally gone away, but I am in control of it, because I go, what am I nervous about? Take that deep breath, and it usually goes away. And if I kind of feel it hanging on, I get up and I go do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Fold some clothes, and load the dishwasher, and it passes. And the other thing too is now recognizing that it's anxiety.
Yeah.
Not going, okay, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? Am I dying? Do I need to call 911? You know, that kind of thing. It's like, it's anxiety, dummy. Take your deep breath, try to figure out what you're nervous about, go do something, and let's move on.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Good for you. I'm really excited for both of us. I think we're in a great place. And
I think we are.
I've been watching you, so let's talk about TikTok. Oh my gosh!
Oh yes, let's
into virtual. What is it? Viral world, right?
Yes.
So I have to laugh. So when I first started seeing your videos, I'm like, oh my gosh! And I had a girlfriend of mine, and her and I recently hooked up too in the past couple of months. And she started coming to take my classes. She travels a lot with work. I travel a lot with work. We haven't seen each other in years. And she called me one day out the blue. So we started talking, and she kind of helped pull me out of that really hard depression, because I just isolated myself away from everybody. And so she kind of pulled me back in a little bit, but I was kind of on my way back at that point. And she shared your video, and she put in her comment, she said, I don't know who this woman is, but I need her as a friend. So I commented back, and I was like, hey, Tamara, I'm friends with her. In fact, I'm doing an interview with her this weekend. I said, I could hook you up if you want.
That's cool. That's so cool.
So I'm going to show the video here just so that we can see it. So let's see if I can do this seamlessly without, first I got to share my screen.
Okay. I'm going to grab a sip of water.
Have at it.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to play it and then we'll talk about it.
All right.
What you do when you TikTok, right? That's what everyone else is. Well, then you want to know. This is the TikTok dance right here. Pelvic thrust, leg on something in the
Oh my God, that is hilarious. So I've been dying to talk to you about this because I want to know. So was that your daughter in the background?
No.
Who was that?
Okay. So the thing with TikTok, I would totally lip sync that whole thing.
Oh, so that wasn't your child in the background saying, "Mom"? Okay,
No. So the whole thing. Now you can do original stuff and everything on TikTok. So let me give you the backstory on TikTok. So when we came back to work, it was real slow. Okay, and at work, and the girl, my coworker Cammie, who's in a lot of the videos with me when you go watch TikTok, we were, just kind of hanging out in our break room, and there was hardly anybody here working out, and she folds the towel and does like the housekeeping stuff around here. And her and her daughters do TikTok. And she says, "Hey, let's make a TikTok," because we were just hanging out, chatting and, drinking coffee and whatever. And I was like, yeah, let's do that, because I said, I do not understand TikTok. I want to see what it's all about, what the rage is all about. So we made the first TikTok, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. So a lot of TikTok is people create a video and it becomes a sound on TikTok, and not everybody on TikTok, but you'll run across one and go, oh, I want to do that one. It might be a singing one, or it might be, like an acting one. I've done ones that are like comedians, little clips of their little stand-up act, and you like act it out and you lip sync it.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So, and you can do your own stuff, and they have effects, and you can do green screens. And I mean, there's so much stuff you can do on it. It's endless. And so you just go through and you follow other people, and people follow you, and you like videos and you comment videos, and you go, oh, I really like that one. I'm going to do that one. And so that's what it's all about. And I've always been really good at lip syncing. And so
that was the thing back in the day.
Yeah. So, well, it's a thing nowadays too on TikTok. So, and the other thing is, I kind of almost think I missed my call. I should be an actress. And, so like TikTok has brought lip syncing, which I'm very good at, being able to, act and do different characters, even though I'm lip syncing, and just act totally stupid and ridiculous. We've done some really ridiculous stuff, and it's so much fun. And I've brought my fitness aspect into it too. So I'll take a sound and do like a little fitness twist on it. Like the hot one right now is the Cardi B WAP song. If you've ever heard that one, anyway, it's nasty, and it's the trend right now. So I took the WAP song, and I took kind of some of the choreography that people do, because people do choreography. Some people will mimic the dances. Some people will do their own.
Yeah.
So I recently took the WAP song and I turned it into a little fitness thing.
Oh, cool.
And, so I've been able to bring fitness and dance into that. And it's also become a platform for me to kind of promote my virtual classes and virtual personal training. I actually picked up a lady from Canada.
Oh, wow.
From that, and I'm training a guy in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
You rock.
So, yeah.
Like
so it's
branding, right?
So it's become a platform for me. People are like, oh my God, you're in such good shape. I would love to take your class. I said, well, as a matter of fact, you can. And, I tell them, go to the PammJamm Cam on Facebook. And I've actually, in the last couple of weeks, I've added like 20 people to my page that have followed me over there from TikTok.
Oh, wow.
So that's
awesome.
kind of the backstory. And then this particular video, I saw somebody do it, and I'm like, oh, that's funny, that's cute, I'm going to do it. So I'm at home on a Sunday. My husband was at work. Emily was in her room doing, you know, whatever, probably watching TikTok, but not my TikToks. I just get I'll go, you got to see this one. And she's just like, oh my God. So anyway, so I'm in my kitchen on a Sunday doing this video, and I'm like, oh, that's fun, that's cute, that's funny. And I posted it, and 5.4 million views later on TikTok. And then it's, you know, circling around Facebook. The last one that I saw, it was over 10 million views on Facebook.
Yeah.
Posted on Justin Bieber's Instagram story, and Sharon Osbourne posted it on her actual Instagram page and said,
oh my gosh,
this woman, I need to know who she is. So like, you know, this video that I did one Sunday at home by myself, just messing around, has gone viral.
Well, did you answer on Instagram? Hey, I'm PammJamm. How did I
Yeah, I did.
Oh, cool.
And she even went in there, and some other people had chimed in and put at pamgraef, and she went in and she edited her comments and said, never mind, y'all found her for me, thank you very much. Now, I hadn't heard from her. I was thinking, oh, maybe I can be on her talk show or something like that. And, you know, but I hadn't heard from her. And I actually sent her a message to see if maybe I could get her in on the helping me rally up some votes for the Miss Health and Fitness thing.
Yeah, which leads us to the next section, or the last section, story number 4, right?
Yes.
So you are competing for a,
yes.
I'll let you explain it completely.
Okay. So I just happened to run across this post on Instagram, and it's Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine. And apparently they do this contest every year. Now, I don't know if every year, if it's been where it goes by the number of people voting, or if they're just doing it that way because of the pandemic. You know, maybe they have an actual competition. I'm not sure. But anyway, I was like, oh, that's not, you know, I'll do that. So I sent in all my pictures, got an email, said, congratulations, you've been handpicked for the competition, which I think they pretty much handpicked everybody. So, you know, I was kind of like, yeah, I got handpicked. And then, you know, there's thousands of people in the competition. And I'm like,
well, now you know, right?
I think they handpicked everybody, but that's fine. Well, hey, whatever. I don't care. I'm in it.
That's right.
So the prize is you win $20,000, and you get a story in Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine, and you get on the cover.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh, see, you made me all choked up there.
I'm sorry, I choked you up. Yeah. So I was like, you know, I'll go for that. But it all, you know, so like you have to, it all boils down to having people vote for you. So that part I was kind of like, that, you know, that I didn't love that part of it. And I'm like, it's so hard to get people to do, you know, to follow through with that. And they have to vote every day. So it's like, you have to, you know, you have to keep plugging away at it every day. And I was like, I'm just going to try. So I ended up winning my group and moving on to the quarterfinals. And, you know, actually I was kind of, you know, I wasn't in first place, and I was kind of like, you know, I'm kind of at a point, you know, where I'm like, I pretty much have run out of people to vote. And then I was like, but there's TikTok. So in the course, to go back to the TikTok thing, in the course of about 4 weeks, well, probably like maybe 5, I don't remember exactly when I did that video, but the day I did that video, I was at about 2,500 followers. And yesterday I hit 81,000.
Oh my gosh.
On TikTok. Yeah. And at the time, a few weeks back, when I was trying to rally up votes, I was at, I want to say I was like somewhere around 50,000 followers. And I said, I'm going to see if I can get these TikTok people to vote for me. So I did a video, you know, and periodically as you go on TikTok, you know, like when you reach a milestone of followers, you're really supposed to go on there and thank people for following you or do a fun video. I did a really fun one the other day to say thank you for 80,000 when I hit 80,000. So I was at about 50,000 at that point. And so I introduced myself and I told them, you know, thanks for all the likes and comments and follows and, you know, hey, I need y'all's help. So I, you know, told them what was going on. Within a couple of hours of that video, I went from second or third place in my group to first place, and I stayed there, and I ended up winning the group.
Wahoo, that's awesome.
Yeah. So right now, so we're in the quarterfinals. The voting goes on until Thursday. Right, I'm in 5th place right now in my group, but I've been as high as 3rd and as low as 6th. So actually today, when you and I are done with this, I'm doing another video to go, I need y'all's help, and see if I can rally up the TikTok peeps again, and get them, you know, and see if I can boost my, and people are voting, because I've done a couple of videos that promoting to go and vote for me on the thing, and it, you know, people are voting because I'll get a message and go, just voted, been voting, you know.
Yeah,
and
I've been voting every day. I'm doing what I can.
The last one I did it to the Supermodel song, and I was like walking around and posing, and I had a green screen in the back with Muscle and Fitness Hers, and at the end I was like standing in front of it like I was on the cover of the magazine.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
so, you know, and that was good. And I put text on there that said, vote for me, and go to the link in my profile and click and vote and whatever. You know, I said, people might be more watching me dance around than actually reading the text. So I said, so today, since there's, you know, what, 5 days left or something like that, I need to like address them talking to them and saying, I need y'all's help. That really made an impact last time. So that's going to happen today.
Awesome.
And sometimes it takes a little while for your videos to circulate.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so excited that you agreed to do this, and I am going to share a link and vote for you. Within this, I'm going to post this on YouTube, and it'll hit my Facebook, and it'll also hit my blog too, because that's where the majority of my followers are right now, is on my blog. So I'll send out an email just saying, hey, this is what's new, and so it'll hit 3 different platforms. So I'll include the link for the voting within the YouTube, my emails, Facebook, everything. So
awesome! Oh my God, I need votes. And they have, you know, the thing is that it's hard to get that across because people vote that one time, they went, did it. And it's like, now you got to do it every day. You know, that's the thing. And after each round, now all the votes start over.
Oh, so when you move on from one round to the next, and you start with 0.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So I said, I feel like I'm running for president. You got to stay on it, and you got to stay on people, and people, you know, and I'm like, people are going to get sick of this. And they're like, ma'am, we're not getting sick of it because it's so easy. You just have to keep reminding us, because it's easy. You know, a lot of the time when you do stuff like that, people think, oh, they're going to want my email address, and they're going to put me on a list, and it's going to, you know, all this other stuff. And they're like, you know, it's going to take 10 minutes and all that. It's so easy. You just click on the link and you vote, and there's no catch, and it's free. And you can buy votes, and the proceeds are going to the homes for wounded warriors.
Oh, I was wondering where that went. So it was the warrior calling it. So
a warrior vote. Yeah. And some days they run a thing where they'll do 2 for 1. So if you buy $50, you get 100 votes, because, you know, it's $1 a vote. So you can buy up to 500 at a time. And then, you know, when they do 2 for 1, you get double. So a lot of people wait for that. And I've had many people that have said, I've been buying votes, girl. I'm buying.
Oh,
yeah. So, but from here on out, we have 2 more rounds after this. We have the semifinals and then the finals. And it's kind of like, this is going, you know, it's like, it's been really long because it started July 20th. Yeah. So, you know, and I was just like, okay, this is going to be, the winner is going to be the one whose voters don't get sick of voting the most or whatever. So
they're gonna make you work for that 20 grand, huh?
God, are they? So yeah, so that's the sticky part now, is that before it was like, hey, you have to vote every day. And now it's like, hey, you have to vote every day. And next round it starts over. So you still got to vote every day.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to keep voting for you, and I'm going to keep sharing it. And absolutely. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Like I said, I've been wanting to do something for months. Yes.
I know. I'm so glad we finally got to do something.
Yeah,
and this was good.